Yo, welcome back to Utility Sports. We have some breaking news. The Jacksonville Jaguars have secured the number one overall selection in this draft. You know what that means. Trevor Lawrence will be a Jacksonville Jaguar pending the idea that he doesn't ask to be traded to another team when he declares for the draft. And so, Sheldon, give your initial thoughts. You're a Jets fan. How do you feel about this? What's the initial reaction that you have?
Yeah, unfortunately, I am a Jets fan, and I'm quite disappointed, actually. Just looking at kind of how the season played out, we had been in the driver's seat for Trevor Lawrence. We need Trevor Lawrence, and we're going to be running it back with Sam Darnold, most likely. At least that's kind of my hope now at this point. I don't know. Like, you're looking now, we're going to probably have the second pick. We just beat the Cleveland Browns, which secured the Jaguars the first overall pick after their loss to the Chicago Bears today. And you guys deserve him. Don't get me wrong. You guys are brutal franchise.
Mike Glennon.
But, like, I'm not going to lie. I'm very sad. I'm really disappointed. We had made videos on this a couple weeks ago when the Jets had beat the Los Angeles Rams and kind of the shift in the positioning. And now it's secured that the Jaguars will be picking first. Now you're looking at a whole bunch of different options for the New York Jets. We just did put a mock video out for that for the New York Jets. That'll be something to monitor if you guys want to watch. That's go up on our channel. Go watch that. Just quite frankly, though, I'm really disappointed. Sam Darnold isn't the answer. He's not the guy that you really need at that quarterback position. I've been saying that since before we drafted him. And I've been right. Obviously, we don't have a lot around him either. We have a lot of needs. Trevor Lawrence wouldn't have came in and fixed everything, but he would have been a really great building block. A really wonderful piece for us to have, and just quite frankly, it doesn't work out for us. The Jacksonville Jaguars are getting a really great player. Austin, walk us through your excitement there.
Lawrence. Yeah, exactly. I definitely feel the disappointment because I thought I was going to be on the other end of it for 15 weeks. I had basically thought that it was a lock pretty much that the Jets were going to have the number one selection for the most part. And I was trying to settle myself and mentally prepare myself for Justin Fields. But now we propel ourselves up to one after the recent events of the back-to-back Jets victories against playoff teams. Let's keep that in mind, playoff teams. And just incredible up and down emotion all game long, constantly monitoring the Jets game, seeing what was happening. They jumped out to that 20-3 lead. They end up almost blowing the lead. Basham forces a fumble, allows them to kick a field goal. Cleveland still gets it back. A lot of emotions. Obviously, they ended up driving all the way down. Baker fumbles on a 4th and 1. Really, really tough situation for Cleveland, but I couldn't express my happiness more right now. It's an incredible feeling to have that number one overall selection. Especially, it's been a very, very bad year. I cannot emphasize enough how bad of a season it's been for us. We have went through so much at the quarterback position, from Mike Glennon to Jake Luton to Gardner Minshew to our defense being historically bad. Wow. Just brutal from what we've had to watch this season. I can't contain my excitement. Obviously, I do feel bad for Jets fans because you don't want to run it back with Adam Gase. You don't want to run it back with Sam Darnold, most likely. I don't understand. It's surprising that they were able to win this game. I don't know how still.
Yeah, looking at the Jets picture from this, really, my disappointment can't be understated. I feel actually can't be overstated, really. Looking at them, it's just Adam Gase. It's the worst coach in football. We have been absolutely terrible all year. You know, the players took it personal. I'm not mad at the players. It's the players' job to go out and try and win. They did their job. Front office probably isn't happy themselves. I'm sure they wanted Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence would have been a game changer for us. Would have been able to move Sam Darnold probably for a second-round pick. You get to bring another asset in. Instead, we're going to be rolling it back with Darnold. I swear to God, if we take Justin Fields, I might lose my mind. I do not want Justin Fields at this point. I do not want Zach Wilson at this point. I don't want a quarterback in this draft that isn't named Trevor Lawrence. He's going to be, maybe a slight improvement over Sam Darnold. Yes, that's important. But the Jets need everything. We need another tackle. We need linebackers. We need corners. We need safeties now after trading Jamal Adams. We need wide receivers. We need a running back. We need tight ends. We have one of the worst tight end rooms in the league, one of the worst wide receiver rooms in the league. We are absolutely brutal pretty much in every area of football. Actually, we have no edge rushing. We have no interior D-line play consistently. Quentin Williams is up and down week in, week out. I just really don't know. Trevor Lawrence would have been the one consistent building block piece we would have had. We would have been able to get another asset for Darnold. Joe Douglas, sure, he hit on Mekhi Becton at this point. but rounds 3 through 7, he didn't really capitalize last year. That's somewhere that he's going to have to really start, spending some more time in the draft. We have to hit on those picks. We need a lot of depth. We need to improve in a lot of areas. Lawrence would have fixed everything. Don't get me wrong, but he would have really helped. We would have been able to move Darnold for an asset. We would have been able to maybe accrue other picks as well by trading down other spots. At this point, though, it looks like a bleak future for the New York Jets, quite frankly. My hope is maybe we grab Penei Sewell, 2nd overall, get a franchise tackle. We'd have 2 of them in Becton and Sewell. That's really great building block pieces moving forward. Maybe be able to grab an interior lineman later in the class. And you're looking at a much improved offensive line. That's something the Jets really need. But at the same time, we really need a running back yet. ETN would be a guy to watch, but the thing is, I just don't even think we can afford to spend a first-round pick on a running back with where our team is at. We need cornerback play, especially on the outside cornerback positions. Bless Austin doesn't get the job done. And looking at the Jaguars' perspective, to me, Trevor Lawrence should be happy, to be completely honest. Not, necessarily isn't the best market. Jacksonville isn't, but a player of his caliber can turn a market around. No one 5 years ago was saying that Kansas City will be having multiple primetime games a year. Nobody was saying that, but Patrick Mahomes is good enough that they do. Trevor Lawrence could have the same impact in Jacksonville. Obviously not right away, but maybe a couple of years down the road, Jacksonville could become a primetime destination for, watching games. They're going to be a fun team to watch. And they have some weapons already for him. DJ Chark would be the Jets' best receiver. Laviska Shenault's a very quality receiver. He had a very nice play today against the Chicago Bears and really was a pretty impactful player offensively for them. James Robinson was a near Pro Bowl running back. Austin, looking at your Jaguars, kind of walk us through what you think their offense could look like with Lawrence.
Yeah, absolutely. Lawrence adds a different element to the offense that we haven't been able to see with any Jags team recently. Under the Blake Bortles era, Gardner Minshew era, guys that can push the ball down the field, and obviously Trevor Lawrence can do that. We have 2 very, very promising wide receivers. Obviously, DJ Chark is a really good receiver, but Laviska Shenault is a guy that a lot of people are disappointed by in terms of the numbers he's put up this season, but he shows flashes of being a really good receiver with a consistent quarterback play. I think that gets the job done. James Robinson, Pro Bowl running back worthy. I would say he didn't make it, but he ended up just being on the outside looking in at the Pro Bowl. Should have probably made it actually over Josh Jacobs. But looking at the team, very good weapons around. Just got to clean up the tight end spot, work on the offensive line. You have some pieces in place for that, but got to work on the O-line. Promising future for the Jags offense. And now all of a sudden, let's look at the GM search and vacancies. They are probably the number 1 spot to go if you're a general manager, in my opinion. Right? You have Detroit, you have Houston, some of those other teams, but Jacksonville has the most assets in terms of the draft capital of those teams. And they also have, potentially a franchise quarterback in Trevor Lawrence, which he will be. And there's just a lot to like, plus the cap space. They have the most cap space in the league. So I really like the Jags moving forward. They can actually free up more cap space if they decide to cut Norwell and a couple of other guys that they can look to move on from. But really promising.
Yeah, and speaking more about the Jets, as a Jets fan, speaking for all Jets fans, we're kind of a disgrace. I'm going to be completely honest with it. We don't have a lot to look forward to. We traded our best player, a 24-year-old safety who is an absolute game changer, just set the record for most sacks by a secondary player in a single season. We traded him when he wanted to be here. Not a lot of players have said, I want to be a lifetime Jet. Joe Douglas moved him for no reason, did not get a contract extension done. Yes, we got a pretty good haul in that deal, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of disappointing when you have a franchise type player like him, didn't get it to work, moved on from him. Quite frankly, the team's terrible with what we have left. Quinnen Williams is an okay player. I wouldn't consider him a true building block moving forward. Mekhi Becton's good. But quite frankly, there's so many holes. And yeah, we have some draft capital this year. Joe Douglas, I think, is a solid GM. I don't think he's done a lot to screw up the Jets yet at this point. He kind of inherited a real mess. I'm not blaming him for the whole situation, but it's just going to take so much effort, so much work, and so many good decisions to override where we're at currently. And Trevor Lawrence would have been able to hide some of those issues. And now we don't have that. Sam Darnold's not a guy who's going to hide issues. Justin Fields isn't going to be a guy who hides issues. And unfortunately, we're now at a point where, maybe we'll be able to trade down, get some more assets out. It's what I would prefer. But really, we're in a tough situation moving forward. Jacksonville's on the rise up. I'm going to tell you guys that right now. They're going to be a team with their assets, with their weapons. They're a young team. They're going to be moving forward. Last year, they took 2 defensive players in the first round. I think their potential is very high. obviously haven't played super great this year, but moving forward, I think that that's very possible for them. And you're looking at a much improved team going into the future. You could be looking at a 10-year window of really good football for Jacksonville, something we haven't been able to say in the last few decades. So it's really good for Jacksonville. I'm happy for them. I'm just kind of disappointed with the whole Jets situation. Jaguars fans, you deserve Trevor Lawrence. You've had to deal with a lot. I mean, your best quarterback ever is Mark Brunell. So, I know all about that though too. So from a Jets fan to Jags fans, congratulations. And from a Jets fan to other Jets fans, I'm sorry. We didn't get the job done really, but it's okay. We've got other things to look forward to. Hopefully GM Joe Douglas moves us in the right direction moving forward. Yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on that.
Yeah, some of my concluding thoughts. Once again, congrats all Jacksonville fans. We've finally done it. We've secured the #1 overall selection. Also, to the Jets fans, really tough. I know I was feeling sick to my stomach pretty much all year long, knowing how bad we were, and under the assumption we still wouldn't end up with Lawrence. That was very sad, but ended up flipping the script. Really tough. However, for Jets fans, something to be excited about. You have the #2 overall pick. Let's not forget that. You have that. You can leverage that in trades. You can take Penei Sewell. There's a lot of different things. Plus, you have that first round pick from the Adams trade. So there's that. And if you're a Jets fan, disappointing, but at least you're somewhat trending in the right direction. Promising victories. Actually, when you look at it from football standpoint, you had some promising victories. Hopefully, you can get rid of Adam Gase. But overall, tough for your franchise and our franchise. We feel pretty lucky at this point, but we're going to conclude the video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Two different feelings right now, obviously highs and lows all season long, mostly lows though. Yeah. We really appreciate you tuning in, and we can't wait to see you in the next video.